Let's just start with the fact that really changes everything. A staggering 95% of corporate generative AI pilots are failing.
95%. That's not a typo.
It's not. And it means businesses are officially done experimenting. They've burned through those early budgets, and now, well, they're demanding answers.
And that simple phrase, "we do AI automation," it's already a dead language in the enterprise market.
Welcome to the deep dive. That failure rate you mentioned is basically a clearing function.
Yeah.
It's changing the entire landscape for AI services as we head into 2026.
It really is. Our mission today is to unpack what that means, whether you're running an agency or you're on the other side trying to hire one.
We're seeing this rapid transition away from that crowded, kind of low-value, generic automation vendor era.
The AI automation bro era.
Right. And we're moving very decisively toward this high-ticket transformation partner model. That's where the real value is.
Exactly. So today we're going to cover that central tension, the pivot to demanding measurable ROI. We'll look at the new entry point, the paid audit, and we'll talk about why fixing messy data is suddenly like 80% of the actual work.
And then we'll wrap up with the strategic endgame. This is where the smart agencies start owning their own IP, turning all that service work into scalable software. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So that MIT report stat, 95% failure rate. It's just wild. When you hear that, you have to ask, what really went wrong? It wasn't just bad tech, was it?
No, it rarely was the tech itself. The failure was almost entirely about poor strategic execution, scope creep. Companies got really seduced by the idea of large language models, the algorithms that can generate text or code, but they never actually integrated those cool projects into their core business.
It feels like they prioritized innovation theater over just real operational efficiency.
Precisely. And that has caused this massive behavioral shift. It's no longer, hey, let's try some AI. The mindset is now, prove this saves us X amount of money or Y amount of time, or just don't even bother. Clients are deeply skeptical now. And, they should be.
And this is why that generic automation agency label is suddenly so meaningless, isn't it?
Completely. The survival requirement now is to niche down hard. You have to stop leading with the tech. Don't say, we use LLMs and vector databases. That's just feature talk.
Instead, you need to lead with outcomes, quantified outcomes.
Yeah. Say, we help e-commerce teams cut support costs by 30% in 90 days, or something just as specific.
You need those bulletproof case studies with real numbers. Like, we saved company X $180,000 a year by automating their intake process.
It has to be about money saved or revenue gained, not about features installed.
So if the market is demanding that kind of concrete value immediately, what is it that specifically lets a smaller agency command higher fees and become that trusted long-term partner?
By offering comprehensive guidance, partners eliminate the chaos of managing a bunch of small vendors. Which brings us to the next big thing, because the fundamental problem for clients is just confusion. They know AI matters, but they don't know where to start.
And they definitely don't trust a random vendor to tell them.
Exactly.
The solution to that is the paid AI audit. It's really becoming the new universal entry point. It reminds me of the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Every business needed a website, even if they weren't sure why. Now, every business needs an AI roadmap.
And this model works because you charge, say, $5,000 to $15,000 just for the diagnosis, depending on the company's size, of course. You're getting paid to figure out the problem.
Not to build the solution right away.
Right. You map their existing, usually messy processes, you find every single friction point, and you identify the key opportunities that'll give them a fast ROI.
And then you present this really clear roadmap. It's a strategic document. And that audit, it naturally upsells into the big implementation packages. We're talking $10,000 up to $100,000 or more.
Yeah, I saw a stat that one program's average audit deal was $11,400 just for the initial diagnosis. That money immediately covers your discovery time, and it just builds trust from day one.
The strategic value there is just huge. Once you diagnose what's broken, you automatically become the most knowledgeable person in the room.
You stop selling, you just continue the work. So what's the core reason that initial diagnosis is more valuable than just trying to build a pilot project right away?
Understanding what's broken makes you the expert, and that eliminates the vendor-client friction. Okay, so let's get into this uncomfortable truth, which I think explains a lot about that 95% failure rate. Most businesses, they're just not ready for advanced AI.
Not even close.
There was a Cisco report It said 92% of companies still don't have AI-ready data.
Yeah, their systems are fragmented, scattered. They're held together by like duct tape and spreadsheets from 2015. That is the messy reality we're dealing with.
So if you're selling a transformation package, you're not really selling AI, you're selling digital plumbing.
Exactly. And that means 80% of the actual work is going to be general software development, building internal tools, dashboards, cleaning up systems before the AI can even do anything useful.
You're stacking Lego blocks of clean data.
Perfect analogy.
But here's the upside we can't ignore. Building that foundational stuff is so much faster and cheaper than it used to be.
Oh, way faster. AI has basically cut the cost of general software development by like 5 to 10 times. Developers using tools like Copilot are reporting speedups of 20, 30, even 55%.
I saw one user who said they built 30 working apps in 30 days, something that would have taken months to do manually.
Whoa. I mean, just imagine scaling a business that serves 1 billion queries based on that kind of build rate. The speed at which you can fix the mess is it's astonishing.
Okay, so that foundational layer has to be addressed. But we also have to talk about what you call the adoption tax. I love that framing. What does that mean exactly?
It means that all the potential time savings from a new system often get canceled out by user distrust or just complexity. Okay. Think about Apple's Newton message pad. It was amazing tech for its time, but people didn't trust the handwriting recognition, so they just stuck with paper.
So a great system can completely die if the team doesn't trust it or know how to use it.
That's it. So education stops being optional in 2026. It has to be built into every single proposal.
Agencies actually need to add a mandatory, say, $15,000 to $20,000 education and adoption package to every project. That covers training, documentation, all of it.
Yeah. And I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's when the instructions you give the AI just kind of lose their effectiveness over time. So I know from experience that professional training is absolutely essential for the client's team to succeed.
And then there's the iteration imperative. The idea that the real money isn't in V1, it's in what happens after the launch.
That post-launch refinement is everything. There was a case study where continuous testing on a client's app over 18 months resulted in user retention peaking at nearly 3 times what it was at the start. And they used clear metrics to prove it was working.
So treating V1 as the start, not the end, is what turns those one-off projects into reliable, ongoing revenue.
That's the key.
So if iteration is how you stabilize revenue, what does the truly ambitious partner aim for beyond that? And I think that gets us to the strategic endgame, owning IP.
Yes. Let's shift to that. The ultimate goal should be owning your own intellectual property. You have to use your client work as a live R&D lab.
So if multiple clients are paying you to solve the same problem,
that's your signal, a huge signal. You've got a scalable software asset on your hands.
The classic case study for this is Group Talent, right?
Exactly. They were a recruitment agency. They built some internal software to fix their own sales process, and that tool eventually spun out to become Outreach.io, now a $60 million plus business.
Service work becoming a scalable asset.
Yeah.
With much, much higher margins. Which leads to the next prediction, the partner race. Agencies need to focus on the mid-market. 50 to 500 million in revenue, they have budgets, they feel the pain, and they can actually move fast enough.
They're too big for freelancers, but too small for McKinsey. It's the absolute sweet spot. And the race is on to lock down long-term relationships with these companies right now.
Okay, but if 92% of companies have messy data, isn't the mid-market just a minefield of legacy systems?
Yeah.
That seems like a contradiction.
That's a fair point. It is messy, but that's why we're seeing the rise of Prediction 9, the forward deployed engineer, the FDE, this new hybrid role.
Yes. Half consultant, half developer. This person goes on site, they interview staff, and then using what we're calling vibe coding, they build working prototypes right there in front of the client.
And vibe coding is just using AI tools to build functional code really fast based on verbal feedback.
Right. And companies will pay a huge premium for that immediate visible value. Then there's Prediction 10, the AI Executive's Assistant offer. This is a high-end service for leadership.
Yeah, building systems that pull critical insights from across the whole company for planning and decision-making. This is a strategic partnership.
A $50,000 to $150,000 annual retainer opportunity. You become a strategic advisor, not just a chatbot builder. And finally, Prediction 11, the Google effect. We have to think about the threat of big platforms like Google or Microsoft launching these sophisticated business setup wizards. That could vibe build a basic tech stack for a small business instantly.
When that happens, the agency role shifts. You're not building from scratch anymore. You're focusing on integration and facilitation, connecting those powerful platform tools to the client's messy legacy systems.
Okay, let's recap the big moves for 2026.
Niche down hard. Focus beats broad every single time. 2, expand your scope. You have to add consulting, software development, and that non-negotiable education package.
Master the audit. Turn that $5,000 diagnosis into a $50,000 project.
Invest in your internal infrastructure so you can iterate fast. And 5, go after that mid-market now before your competition does.
The gap between that cheap automation freelancer and the true AI transformation partner who guarantees ROI is just widening exponentially.
The opportunity isn't disappearing at all. It's just evolving into a much more mature professional market where expertise and results are all that matter.
So a final thought for everyone listening. If most businesses are still using those messy Excel sheets from 2015 to run core functions, what deep foundational layer of our current business infrastructure will we look back on in 5 years and realize was the single biggest obstacle to true AI transformation? Something to think about.